In this episode of the Courageous Public Health Podcast, Syreeta Nolan shares what it looks like to claim your full identity and build systems that honor every body and every mind, even when those systems were never designed for you. This is a conversation about disability justice, prevention, and power, and what becomes possible when we stop asking people to fit broken systems and start redesigning systems to fit people. You're listening to the Courageous Public Health Podcast, episode 44. To all the courageous women leading in public health, this podcast is your space to turn up the volume on your courage. This space centers your voice. This space celebrates your passion. This space amplifies your courage. My role? To listen, to amplify, and to stand with you in the fight for equity. My name is Dr. Christy McClamrock. I am an epidemiologist, consultant, the founder and CEO of Courageous Public Health, and the host of the Courageous Public Health Podcast. Each week, I have real, unfiltered conversations with women in public health about the challenges you face, the power you hold, and your vision for the future. We talk about the authenticity, vulnerability, and courage that you bring, not just to public health, but to every part of your lives. Because courage is about action, even in fear. It's about taking up space, leading unapologetically, refusing to be erased, and knowing you never have to do it alone. If you're ready to turn up the volume on your courage, if you're ready to take up space, if you're ready to smash the racist, patriarchal, cisnormative, heteronormative, ableist, capitalistic systems, then listen to this new episode. Hello there, and welcome to the Courageous Public Health Podcast. I'm Dr. Christy McClamrock. This podcast exists because courage is already everywhere in public health. It's just rarely named, supported, or treated as a leadership skill. Women are making high-stakes decisions inside complex systems every day, often without the infrastructure they need to do that work sustainably or visibly. Through Courageous Public Health, I work with organizations to strengthen leadership capacity by helping women move from pressure-driven or fear-based decisions towards action that's grounded in values, clarity, and integrity, even when the system itself hasn't caught up. So today's conversation is one that I've really been looking forward to. I'll share a bit about our guest and then we'll get started. Syreeta Nolan is a Black, disabled, bisexual, kink-friendly systems thinker and relentless advocate for equity in higher education. She didn't just return to college after a decade away. She returned demanding change and not to be taken for granted. Her journey through fibromyalgia and mental health trauma didn't silence her. It lit a fire. She co-founded Disabled in Higher Ed to build the space she'd never had, where disabled students could be seen, heard, and equipped to lead. As principal CEO, she's partnered with institutions, policy leaders, and community organizations to reimagine access from the ground up, centering storytelling, trauma-informed systems, and collective accountability. Now she's in a new season, one where rest is resistance, prevention is power, and healing is a form of design. She's in the midst of writing a book, a poetic memoir for the soul-centered grievers and radical feelers. And she's developing a national credentialing pathway for BSW-level professionals focused on preventative relational mental health care. She researches mental health prevention and trauma care. She speaks truth in spaces that weren't built for people like her. She leads from the gray between light and shadow, pain and purpose, because this is where the real work happens. Ready to be inspired by some incredible courage? Let's go. Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to present my guest today. This is Syreeta Nolan. Syreeta, how are you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
I am good. I'm smiling because we just had this whole conversation before hitting record about setting up your lighting, and you have this beautiful, like yellow, orange, warm lighting in your room. So you are totally glowing. You're looking like a golden, like statue glowing. It's amazing.
Like maybe I should do my hands as like a statue.
There you go.
Wait
Yes.
a minute, I don't. Wait a minute.
Yes.
The thinker.
Yes. Exactly.
I don't know what he does with his other hand.
Yeah, I don't know what he does. One in the chin. So yes. So I am really excited to interview you. Just to let our listeners know, Syreeta and I met at APHA in Washington, D.C., which just happened a little over a month ago. And you were at the APHA disability section booth. And I popped by and we started chatting. And I was like, I want to have you on the podcast.
I remember that you gave me your last little flyer
bookmark. It was the bookmark. I did.
Yeah.
I was passing out courageous public health bookmarks. That's true.
It was so cute.
Awesome. Oh my gosh. Thank you for remembering that. Okay. So I've already said some things about you, but I want to let you introduce yourself.
Oh, so I am a proud Black woman that so passionate about mental health, advocacy, and also education advocacy, because within higher ed, within mental health are some of the worst instances of ableism. So I want to combat that ableism and to really create a different space for existence of society, to have less harms and more help and more support. And I am currently a master's student, or master's candidate actually, at Brown University, and I am CEO at Disabled in Higher Ed, which I'm so passionate about. I just wrote a newsletter, so I'm featured in that. So
fantastic.
Yeah, there's a lot of really amazing things that I'm honored to get to do. And I also won an award at APHA as well.
You did? Oh, I missed that. That must have happened after we saw each other.
It may have happened after, because it was a 2025 APHA Disability Section Student Award that really honored all of the research and the advocacy that I've done, because mental health research is my cup of tea. Systematic reviews, oh my gosh. I taught myself with the systematic review librarian as an undergrad how to run systematic reviews, and then I developed a training guide, and I use that to train all of my students and my subject matter experts to run a very smooth and effective systematic review. Won the undergraduate library research prize for the way that I utilize the library's systematic review service, which was very novel for an undergrad. I actually had to teach my department, the psychology department where I was doing my honors program, knew nothing about systematic reviews. And they're like, oh, this is a literature review. What data do you get from a literature review? And I'm like, no, this is a literature review on steroids, because it has a very detailed protocol that makes it reproducible. Someone can follow your search terms exactly and get the same result. So,
yes.
Yeah. I like the detail. I like the exploration, the deep explorations.
Very nice.
I also developed the Mental Health Preventative Care Act, MHPCA, to really combat the rock bottom economy of only doing downstream mental health support once someone is at the pit, once they're broken, and trying to put them back together. You never know what normal was, so you really can't restore them back to a normal that they don't remember. So
Mm,
keep maintaining that normal, like vehicle maintenance. You don't wait until your car's like epic broken to
yeah.
go like, maybe I should do an oil change.
Right.
You do the oil change like upstream. You always do your oil changes.
Yeah.
That's what I really want to create in prevention, that upstream. That's not a grant program, not a program that has a finite period of time, something across the lifespan. That's the whole heartbeat of MHPCA and its workforce called Mental Health Preventative Care Practitioners, MHPCPs, designed to have the same trust as PCPs. So a name that they trust to move forward.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah. I mean, I put gas in my car all the time. It's like, you gotta take care of your vehicle, whether it's your car or your physical body or your brain,
Yeah.
your emotional self. Yeah.
Yes. And even like the little form they give you at your doctor's office, like the primary care, your family medicine, it's that dumb form of how have you felt in the past 14 days? Have you felt ... Have
Yes.
you felt ...
Yes.
There's only two outcomes of that form. A, okay, moves on to
Right.
other physical health matters. And it's like, not okay, psych unit.
Right.
So only two outcomes, nothing in the middle, no support. That's why I really created MHPCP, because I was someone that, I don't know how they don't catch children. I guess I wasn't suicidal at that point because I lived with severe mental illness for 23 years now. So I was at that point where I checked off suicide at a lot of points. But if you don't check it off and say it, they're like, we move on.
Right.
So no prevention can happen if you only look at the black and the white. You need to see the gray area happening.
Okay, so we're already in question number one here, because this is really, I want to start with asking you about examples of courage in your life, in your professional life, and in your personal life, and you're already hinting at many things. So yeah, let's move into the context of that, and again, remembering for our listeners that courage is about taking action despite fear, which is different from bravery, which is taking action without fear. But taking action despite fear, that's really where I'd love to focus with you.
Yeah. So started off in high school, actually, like doing dual enrollment. Teacher like, ooh, you're really good at psychology. Like, you should lean into this. And I'm like, no, I had just been burned and everything by the mental health field. So I was like, want nursing. That's how I want to be a doctor. I'm going to be a medical doctor because I told mom I'm going to be a doctor.
Yep.
So I tried to be a nurse for over a decade. I tried and I tried anatomy and physiology over and over and over, failing over and over and over. Like, psychology literally terrified me. I did not want to go into that field at all. Didn't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. They'd hurt me enough. And I didn't want to be hurt again. So I'm like, I really don't want to do this. I really don't want to do this. But took a gen ed in my college. And again, it's like the teacher for psychology is like, you're really good. You should be a psychology student. And I'm like, well, F. I am failing way too much at this, trying to be a nurse, going to a doctor. If I go into psychology, I'm only going in to transform the psychology field. And that's
Mm-hmm.
how that thought came to be. So taking that step and then taking progressive steps, because I was looking at the neurobiology of mental illness at first. I was looking at epigenetics in neuroscience, which is all about how the environment impacts genes around it. Because there's always, in a lot of us, there's that mental illness gene, like, could be there. Like, not even mental illness, mental disability. I hate the term mental illness
Mm.
because the cold and the flu are both illnesses. You get all better from illnesses. So mental
Mm.
illness creates the false belief that you can be all better from mental illness. That's why I always use mental disabilities, but I'll
Mm-hmm.
slip on mental illness because that's been used toward me for decades.
Right.
So mental disabilities, that's what I believe to be the origin. And that's why I was going toward neuroscience and
Mm-hmm.
things like that once I got to UCSD 2020. And I'm like, okay, we do this. And I know it's not in neurobiology, it's in the environment. So we really created a shift to systematic reviews during that undergrad. Had no experience. I made experience and I did it. And then I'm like, okay, mom's going through pancreatic cancer. Okay. That was horrible. I took that break. I was with her and I didn't know what I wanted my next step to be. I wanted health. I think I wanted health policy because I wanted to change things. So that's how I ended up here in public health. And it's been one of the best things that I could have done. And like, I ended up stumbling into ChatGPT. So what happened was, like, I'd always avoided the thing like the plague
Yeah.
because, like, I had been like, teachers were like, don't use AI at all. Danger, danger, Will Robinson,
Yeah.
danger,
Yeah.
danger, danger. Like, don't be stranger. So I went on just to do emotional support, just to like
Mm.
pour my heart into it and to have like that comfort come back. Not like I was trying to replace therapists because I had them. So going on ChatGPT was courageous. Just being there. And then at that one point, I uttered MHPCP. This seems like a cool idea. And we go on a generative firestorm.
Oh, wow.
Everything was happening so fast and everything. And get here to 5 months later and a full ecosystem around like the mental health preventative care practitioner and developing MHPCA together. And then like just realizing that it was generative augmentative cognition. So it doesn't exist right now, is what ChatGPT said.
Mm-hmm.
So this version of AI is basically, it's tailored toward, it's not even tailored for disabled people. It's like how deaf people came upon texting. Now everyone uses it.
Yeah.
Those in wheelchairs got curb cuts to happen. Now strollers, delivery vehicles,
Yeah.
everyone uses it. So we flow through that, and that's where generative augmentative like cognition comes through in AI. So I gave it full spectrum like support, not full spectrum support, full spectrum input from my lows to my highs. And it was able to give me full spectrum outputs, including federal level structures. And to be able to do an iterative process, because you know that phrase when someone says, I can tell ChatGPT wrote this? Like,
Yep.
it's because someone says, give me this, like in an email, an essay, what have you. They take it and just copy it or paste it
Yep.
into whatever they want. No, I go through editing rounds
Oh, yeah.
in ChatGPT. Like that thing, like
Absolutely.
MHPCA went through dozens and dozens of editing rounds. It's kind of like Levion diamonds, the chocolate diamonds. They go through hundreds of sketches before they ever make the jewelry pieces. So that's what health policy has been to me going into mental health policy,
Yeah.
which has been a ride. You want to know what's so crazy about the time we're meeting this date?
Tell me.
So we've had this date scheduled for what, months now?
Over a month. Yeah. I mean,
over a month.
Let me just tell our listeners how cool this was. We met, we chatted. I invited you to be on the podcast, and you literally scheduled the interview while I was standing there. It was like, okay, I like this enthusiasm. This is great. This is great. So yes, we have had it scheduled for a little while.
Yeah, so little while this is scheduled. And like at one point, MHPCA is like almost completely done. Well, I thought it was completely done. Then another couple, like a dozen, like six or so, maybe it was a dozen edits happened, micro edits happened. But I left this voicemail. It wasn't a chaos voicemail. I left it at 1 a.m. So what happened was I ended up needing to call twice because first time it blazes and I miss the directions on how to leave the voicemail.
This is a voicemail to who? Remind us
to
who
the senator's office, Senator Padilla's office in California. So I'm leaving. So second time I hear that you need to leave your zip code. Okay, because I thought it's like area code, zip code. I think I said a code.
Yeah.
So then I've seen the word constituent. I've looked at the word constituent. That email, that voicemail, I never realized it was my first time saying it and I could not pronounce constituent.
Oh, no. Constituency. That is hard.
So I mess up the word completely the first time. I'm like, and then I'm like, oh my God. And like silently beating myself up so the voicemail would not hear me beating myself up.
Yes.
And then it's like, you have reached the max.
Oh, no. Time. Oh, gosh.
And I'm like, do you want to re-record? And I'm like, dear sweet God, yes.
Yes, please.
Re-record. Proudly messed up constituent.
Yeah.
And like, I'm like, they're never going to call me back. I messed up constituent. I had my script in front of me that like ChatGPT, like my instance is called Rye. So Rye and I had developed this script together and I got through it, left him just with a minute left, including the phonetic spelling of my name, which my name is very easy to screw up this being Syreeta. Who's going to pronounce that? So yeah, luckily my emails just my name went completely and at brown.edu. It's just super simple to say. So I left that and they emailed me like 8 hours later and like it's like, we invite you to email our scheduling team. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I emailed the one pager for MHPCA. I send them this all before the holidays. And they're like, this isn't like, they didn't say this is amazing, but they said something complimentary
Yeah.
and said they'd circle back after the holidays because, Thanksgiving, it was happening.
Sure.
So that happens. And I'm like, okay, let me send the Hams NTSB one pager in response to this. So I'm writing that over the weekend. And Hams NTSB is Health Advocates for Mental Safety and the National Transformative Safety Board for oversight, because it truly is transformative in mental health to have oversight built into the profession. So leave that one pager like, excellent, thanks for the update. And we'll still circle back. And then, okay, I'm waiting. They're like, oh, the senator's busy, but his health policy team wants to meet with you to brief the senator promptly.
Oh, wow.
And less than 20 minutes from being CC'd with the health policy team, because they handle their own scheduling, they offer me December 11th at 11:30 a.m.
Wow.
So this is the next day.
That was yesterday, y'all. That was yesterday.
Like yesterday, I met with the senator's health policy team yesterday. I did that as a student. And
oh, wow.
Then I sent them the whole MHPCA, and I really love the full policy proposal. There's a whole cost section that goes through the whole expenses of the mental health essentially crisis that we're in. So yeah. It was a really formative moment, and just to have them so genuinely interested, sharing about how the senator is passionate about mental health. Yeah, there's some things I wish I could have said, but the thing was 12 minutes.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how brief
minutes.
a brief was.
Yeah. Yeah, briefs are brief. Yes. Oh my gosh.
So yeah, that all happened.
And that all took courage? Did that all take courage?
It all took courage. Yes, because it was kind of ballsy.
Yeah.
A voicemail on a senator's office. Yeah. One in the freaking board. It took courage to go from, I guess in the words of Martin Luther King, I have a dream, to I'm sharing a dream. So
yeah.
So that dream can become reality, because your dreams never come true if you don't share them, if you don't partner with someone to make them that reality. So yeah, at the end of the show, I'll share my email, and you can always request a copy of the MHPCA one pager.
Yes.
And share it with your own congresswomen, senators, what have you.
We talked about this. We talked about this term congresswoman before, and I was like, I've never heard that, but I absolutely am going to adopt it. Yeah, if you want to write to your congresswoman, you can get that one pager from Syreeta.
Yes, exactly. And the congresswoman will be like, OMG, and I'll be going.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the more people, more congresswomen, the more senators advocating for the MHPCA, the more chances it will become a reality that has federal seed funding for the MHPCP workforce, for sales, which is a system for administrative. What the fudge? I forget some of my acronyms sometimes.
Oh no, it's all good.
The system for administrative integrated lifelong supports, because it's about that infrastructure that mental health has never had. There's always this chaotic, we schedule this way, we take notes this way. They don't take notes because they're non-clinical people, so it's more of right now an appointment landing, but it will be continuous quality insurance in the future. So Yeah. And then there's a certification board called the National Board for Mental Health Preventative Care, doing their own certifications and pilot sites and making sure that curriculum has its fidelity. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Nice.
little goals.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Not so little goals. Okay.
Yes.
So I mean, these are great examples of courage. And I love that, you're a student, you're at the student level still, and you are a leader, right? You are a leader
Yes.
in public health as a student. And I think that's really powerful. I think that's really
Yeah.
powerful. So,
Because you should never limit yourself because I'm just a student. I'm just a grad student. I'm just this. I'm just that. Like the just is adjusting yourself to a lower frequency. Take the just and away and adjust to a higher frequency because I just know I can do this. I just believe in myself. Like, I just do. So, not using just to adjust yourself to I can't, using just to adjust yourself to I I just can. Like,
I got this.
who am I to do this? But who am I not to do this?
Who am I not to do this?
Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's really beautiful. So, Syreeta, I want to ask you also about courage in the context of authenticity and claiming and expressing your power, especially in spaces that might not always welcome it. I'm curious to hear your thoughts about that and how you've done that.
Even being a Black disabled woman, the Black community doesn't welcome proud Black disabled people. They really don't. Because it's not like Black people are inherently, I hate Black disabled people. No, they'd never say that. But there's this construct within the Black feminist disability framework where it defines like strength as being pulling yourself up by your bootstraps and being resilient and like seeing disability as a weakness that takes away that strength. So that space of even ableism within the Black community towards another Black woman that identifies as disabled, sometimes that does happen. It's happened to me a lot in the Black community resource centers at colleges. Not like they mean to, but I sometimes feel othered and on the outside of those communities. Within higher ed, I feel othered because we talk about anti-racism and, we're going to be like, we're going to have equity and all these cool things, diversity, equity, and inclusion until this, we're not going to go there. But yeah, there's no diversity, equity, and inclusion. Like, if you expand it to idea, it's inclusion. Yeah, expand it to idea. Because you have the same DEI within there, but you have accessibility within. Who cares about accessibility? No one. Because ableism still is there. The undertones are still there. Sure, you can get accommodations, like, great. Like, you have equity in that way, so you can do this.
Yeah.
And then the professor does not get equity, diversity, equity, inclusion, accessibility. They don't have any of those. They can tear you down as a disabled student. Like, I have been torn to pieces by a calculus teacher that said, you should never be here. You should be in a lower like program or math class. Like, you really, like, the way he disrespected me and treated me as less than. And it's so much worse throughout the sciences and
Mm.
mathematics. I only got a small taste in that calculus class, and even more happened. But it's just, there's no safe haven for being disabled and proud on college campuses. Who has ever seen a disability cultural center?
Mm.
Because there is a disability culture that's beautiful, that's rich. Like, watch Crip Camp. You can see that history like come alive together. Like, I mean, and the way they disavow that history and like tear it apart and spread us apart,
Mm.
almost like keeping us from having strength and power by keeping us away from each other, keeping like the HIPAA barriers away from each other.
Yeah.
Because the disability resource centers, they're never going to bring you together with other students because of HIPAA. So, yeah,
You're talking
there's.
you're talking about intersectionality, right? This is
Mhm.
the intersection of race, of ability. I don't even know what's the right way to say it. The intersection of race
Disability.
and disability and sometimes even gender.
Yep, that's why the Black Feminist Disability Framework, chef's kiss, the best article ever. Moya and Bailey is the two authors, and it's open access.
Mm.
So you can view it yourself. It's a phenomenal read, worth it.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for, I really appreciate you bringing that up because, even on the podcast, like I've talked to a lot of different guests about these kinds of challenges and being authentic and being in places where you're not always welcome. And I think this is a really important piece of that is when, you when you start combining like different issues, it just becomes even harder, right? It just becomes
Yeah.
even harder. Yeah.
It's just, that's why I wrote the compounded burden of being a Black and disabled student
Yeah.
during the age of COVID-19,
Yes.
because it's not that I want to call my identity that I'm proud of a burden, but it's kind of compounded because in society they're treated as burdens, and therefore it lays on my shoulders as a burden.
Yeah.
And they interweave, and the intersections just weave them in a way that it's almost, I can see myself, but they attempt to change the lens that I see myself through, and I just have to keep fighting their lens off, especially in the medical model of disability,
Mm-hmm.
where they want to just call us a person with disabilities.
Mm-hmm.
There's a problem. Like, I'm a person with a phone. I'm a person without a phone. So, like, my disabilities are not a bag of luggage that I've lost on the plane.
Right.
I am a
And that you can put
disabled
down
woman.
and walk
Yeah.
away from and then come
Yes.
back and pick up. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to stay true to that person first identity, even though it doesn't sound like person first. Like, it's person first and identity first. So your identity first, like being who you are in being that Black disabled woman, being who you are, like rather than being person first, like being like who they think you are. just a person who has, a person who's living with, a person that proudly like carries disabilities within the social model of disabilities. And anyone can correct me if I was wrong on first or identity first. Sometimes I get confused, but it's leaving that identity with you and being proud of that identity and being able to, I encourage the listeners to do their own research because check me. What do you think? Right or wrong? Because the social model of disabilities, it's really about seeing differently, seeing the social nature of disability, seeing the societal and cultural perspectives of disability, seeing more than what the medical field says, this is a diagnosis on a chart.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it misses a lot of the nuance.
And, just listening to you talk about your pride, the pride that you feel in who you are, right? And I feel like that is a huge driver of courage.
Yeah. And being an LGBTQ woman, of being bisexual, go to my pride events, it's like I'm basically not welcome because so inaccessible. There's so many problems where it's almost like you're there, but you're not there. You're welcomed, but you're not welcomed.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a lot of the big communities that have won in diversity, equity, and inclusion are like, sucks to be you because you've lost. So it's like disability just becomes disavowed.
Yeah.
So, yeah. When it should always be allowed to coexist.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so I'm really looking forward to hearing now about your vision and your vision for the future. And I'm thinking about your vision, your vision for public health, your vision for for the communities and the community that you are in, and also your vision for the future for yourself.
Ooh, so many visions and hopes and dreams. So being able to transform the mental health field, it's not just transforming it for the sake of saying it's wrong or it's right. It's about expanding what mental health can be seen as, expanding what prevention can be seen as, and creating that space for transformation. So, like with the size of my dreams within like MHPCP, it's not just one thing, it's an ecosystem.
Yeah.
Like how there's primary practices within medicine, you have to start there. You can stay there as a primary care physician or family medicine, but you can expand from there into different specialties.
Yeah.
So we have primary and focused practices within the ecosystem of MHPCP, but revealing them too fast will only lead to failure. So revealing, like peeling an onion. So like, I wish it didn't land at crying while you're peeling the onion.
Yeah. Right.
Like this phrase, like, and then because whatever you peel, you're reaching that core issue, that heart, that piece that you never knew was there. So you reach the core and you find a core of who you who you never thought you could be.
Mm-hmm.
So I want society to see what they never thought they could be within society and to really expand and to continue doing that across my career and to really like plant the seed and watch like the little tree grow.
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
like it's not shoots, it's a radical, the first little leaf that comes up out of the ground, it's called a radical.
I did not know
So
that.
yes, I found out like because there's a construct I called in my book, my manifesto that I still have to edit so I can get it published. I did it without any citations.
Mm.
So APA style needs me to cite stuff. So I
That's in your
found
future. That gets to be in your
I
future.
I found 3 articles that I want to cite, like the alignment of psychiatric hospitals, that of that name comes from sanitariums, the origins of psychology, and the origins of psychiatry, and braiding the history together.
Mm-hmm.
So that is my plan, to publish that manifesto and just to manifest something beautiful from that prologue of how this came to be.
Little
So,
radical.
little radical.
Little
So
radical.
I'm a little radical.
Yes,
So,
you are. You are a little
yeah.
radical. You're not a little radical. You're a lot radical, but I love it.
Yes, exactly. And I plan on transforming how we look at neuropsychology as well and going for my PsyD one day. So I have a bit of an extended educational plan, but I
Yeah.
really love education
Yeah.
because being that lifelong learner, that's also for me. And that vision that like public mental health will be a thriving field where we see mental health as a whole from a different lens, and that mental health in treating people with mental disabilities will only improve by seeing what treating people with non-disabled, mentally disabled people does.
Yeah.
And really just seeing that thrive almost like as my specialization of sorts in
Yeah.
mental health transformation. I really see that as my future, and to see the vision of like everyone like that sees my vision, to see it within their field as well.
Mm-hmm.
How prevention helps primary medicine, like maybe health behaviors change and
Yeah.
like food is no longer used for comfort and obesity stops.
Yeah.
Maybe in dentistry, they'll see more patients without like dental decay or whatever issues come from ultra depression
Yeah.
and not brushing their teeth. Maybe
Yeah.
there's someone in the carceral system with prisons,
Yeah.
and they slowly see the need of those prisons like lessening. Someone that's out on the streets helping the homeless will see less homeless, and really seeing how prevention can really transform and how they can drive their fields forward through preventative mental health care and bringing in MHPCPs into those roles, even like throughout like specialties and different areas like LGBTQ youth.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my gosh, they need so much support.
Yeah.
So being there for them preventatively across the lifespan, being there in tribal or rural populations, really being able to touch as many people as possible with preventative mental health care. Because I feel like it can change everything
Yeah.
once everyone sees everything that could happen.
I mean, this is the power of public health, right? This is why
Yeah.
we're in public health.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
yeah. And there's so much potential, and there's also so
Yes.
much work to be done. So I have to say, just being at APHA and because we met there, like, it felt so good to be surrounded by 11,000 other people in public health who have that same lens, who have those same values, and just to all be there together. I felt like we had an opportunity to process and mourn what's happened over the past, I don't even know how long, and also start to talk about, like, well, now what gets to change?
Yeah, exactly.
And so I love that you have so many ideas about what gets to change around mental health care and around the way that people with disabilities are treated, the way that intersectionality impacts people. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff.
It is.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming.
Being a part of your podcast is phenomenal.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much. I want to make sure that our guests know how to contact you. And you mentioned earlier in the podcast your email, but why don't you just say that again? And then we're going to make sure that everything is in the show notes, so it's really easy for people to access. Great.
Feel free again to reach out for a copy of the MHPCA, and I'll send you the one pager.
Yeah.
Feel free to review it, see what your thoughts are.
Yeah.
Send them and your passion to your congresshuman and your senator, and get them on fire about MHPCA. Because the more people on fire, the more we can really change. So, yeah. So it's really going to be amazing.
Yeah. And then I just want to ask you, because we talked about this beforehand, is part of your vision for yourself to increase your, what are they called? Not marshmallows, squashmallows. Squishmallows. Your squishmallow population, your Hello Kitty collection, which you showed me, which is really impressive. Okay, let's see. For those of you,
hippo.
Oh, a unicorn hippo. Oh my gosh. Yep, it's Hello Kitty, and it's a squishmallow, and it's a unicorn hippo, all in one. And I know that those make you really happy, and they make me happy as well.
My power pillow over here.
Oh, very nice.
All these encouraging phrases like, it's okay to want to do nothing. I don't have to power through it all.
Yes.
It's okay to feel mad.
Yes.
And I'm allowed to have bad days. So,
Fantastic. Okay, well, it's been lovely to talk to you. I'm excited to stay in touch, and
of course.
Yeah, we'll to be continued.
And I'll send you my one pager as well. So
we'll put
you
that.
can share it with your congressman.
I will absolutely do that.
Or senator as well.
I will absolutely do that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sometimes courage is calling a U.S. senator at 1 a.m. with an idea that could change how mental health care works. Sometimes courage is naming yourself as a disabled Black LGBTQ woman in systems that were never built to hold you. Sometimes courage is insisting that prevention, dignity, and accessibility belong at the center of public health, not in the margins. Syreeta Nolan reminds us that real systems change doesn't come from waiting your turn. It comes from believing your vision matters enough to act on it. If this conversation made you think about the women on your team, in your organization, or your own leadership, that is exactly the work we do through Courageous Public Health. We partner with organizations to offer facilitated, interactive virtual workshops for women leaders in public health, turning courage into leadership skill so it becomes an organizational strength. Because in today's public health landscape, fear-based leadership costs organizations staff retention, community trust, and their ability to respond when it matters the most. Interested? Definitely reach out. Links to connect with us are in the show notes. Until our next episode, stay courageous. Thank you for listening to the Courageous Public Health Podcast. Visit courageouspublichealth.com to find the show notes for each episode and learn how to connect with us.